Yes, good afternoon everybody again. And as of my previous two videos, I explained about how to create the file, how to open it, read the data, write the data, and close it. With an example program we have discussed. But one thing, if you see over there, when you are writing the data or when you are reading the data has to be read and write sequentially from the first position of the file. But sometimes if my file is having large amount of data set, if I wanted to read it as it is, it might take a long time. So to make it easy for our convenience to read the data or write the data at any specific position by the user without always starting from the beginning of the file, we have one more concept called as random access files in C. And this random access files are mostly used for binary files. Random accessing functions are mostly used for binary files. And why we need to use the random access, because of these major reasons, like the accessing of data will be fast, we can access the data fast. Okay, and the next one, if we wanted to modify any records, we can easily modify them, because directly we can jump to the location where you wanted to modify it. So modification of records will be easily done. Okay, and next one, as we told, it is suitable for large data files. It is suitable for large data files, and mostly used in the databases. Mostly used in databases. So it is mostly used for databases and record management systems, because when you see the databases or record managements, they are going to deal with the huge amounts of data sets. If I am going for the sequential access for these two cases, always it has to start from the beginning of the file. So it is little bit complex every time to move the cursor up to our design location and all. So that is the reason we preferably go with the random access files in C. So for more understanding, let's see few of the differences between sequential and random accesses. So like whenever I'm going with the sequential access, how it will be, and whenever we are using the random access files, how it will be. See, when you go with the sequential access files, the complete data will be accessed in order. Data accessed in order always from the beginning. Okay, but whereas in the random access files, whichever the data is required by the user, data can be accessed directly. So that means we no need to always go to the beginning and move to there and all. Directly whichever the position is required, straight away we can move the cursor to that particular location. So that is one of the advantage. And as when you go for the sequential access, the accessing will be slower, because always we have to start from the beginning. But when you go for the random access, it will be faster. And next, the sequential access mostly works on text files. Sequential access mostly works on text files. This random access mostly works on binary files. Mostly works on binary files. So because of these few differences, we are preferable go with the random access when we are dealing with the huge amounts of data sets in the files. Okay, so now to work with these random access files, C language is provided with a few of the predefined functions. So mostly we have three predefined functions are available. One is fseek. One is fseek, the which is used to move our file pointer to specific location. Because as earlier in the text files, when we are written the program, like when you are writing, open the file in writing mode, or when you are opening the file in reading mode, always the cursor will be placed in the beginning of the file, that is in the first character of the file. But here if I wanted to read from the third line or from the fourth line or maybe after 100th character, so I have to go across all those characters in the sequential axis. But to jump to that particular location directly, we have a function in the random access file, that is fseek, which is used to move the file pointer to specific location. And this file fseek function takes three parameters. So one is the file pointer, because as I told you, which is used to connect our program to the file, so it requires a file pointer. Next one is offset. Next one is offset, and next one we required the position of the file, position of the location. So these are the three parameters will be taken here. And here coming to the positions, we already predefined with few keywords, or else we can even use the numbers also. The few keywords which is provided is they are always in the capital letters, seek underscore set. So wherever the cursor is there, it will come back to beginning of the file. Like sometimes we are in somewhere in 100th location, I wanted to jump back to 0. We no need to come across all the characters directly, we can jump to 0 by applying this seek set in place of position. Or else seek current, CUR, it will move the cursor to current position in the file, current position in the file. Or else sometimes I wanted to jump directly to the last character of the file, so seek end, which will move our cursor to end of file, which will move our cursor to end of file. So this is one of the function which is used to move the cursor position from beginning to somewhere, or from the current position or to the end of the file. So second one is ftell, ftell function, so which is used to return the current position of the file pointer. Because as we said, no, in the sequential axis the default location of the cursor will be starting of the file, that might be 0. But in the random axis the cursor may be somewhere, I don't know where the cursor is now, I wanted to know the position of the cursor now, so we have to apply ftell function. So simple syntax for this, it is going to give you the position, so I am storing it into some of the variable, and use the function with only one parameter, that is the file pointer. It gives you the current location of your cursor in the file. And the last one is rewind, rewind, rewind. This is the one more function which is used to move back, which is used to move back our cursor always to the beginning of the file, wherever it is the cursor position. By default, when I apply rewind method, when I apply rewind method, it defaultly moves the cursor to beginning of the file. So the syntax for this is rewind file pointer. So automatically wherever it is, the cursor is moved to starting of the location. So just we'll see one of the example program for the random access to write the record into a file. So here, to write the records or to read the records into the files, we have two functions are available. One is fwrite function, one more is fread function. So fwrite function is always used to write a complete record into the file. Fread is used to read a complete record from the file. See, when we are discussed about the previous functions like fprintf or fscanf, fputc or fgetc, these kind of things, we spoken as words or characters. But now here I am saying as a record. Record means generally we use a structure variable, because we know a structure variable is consisting of n number of values. Structure members will be there. For example, if I have a structure with the three members, as a student if you take it, roll number, name and marks, these three members are there. If I created a structure variable as S, now S is a record which consisting of roll number, name, marks. So the complete data I wanted to write at a time or I wanted to read at a time, we have to use the concept, we have to use the functions like fwrite and fread. So in the fwrite function or fread function, we'll take four parameters as input. One is the address of structure variable, second one is size of that structure variable, and next one is number of records at a time you wanted to store or write or read, and from where, from the file pointer. So these four parameters will be taken. See, for fwrite, the four parameters, first one I'm saying address of structure variable, and as we don't know the size of it because structure variable size depends on the number of members, so that size has to be calculated. And next one, number of records. So here number of records mostly gives in terms of integer number, either 0, 1, 2, like that. And for where you are storing it, it stores into a file, so file pointer. So this is the syntax we'll use to read or write the data, complete record into a file. See the example we'll see in next video. Thank you.